What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I got one of the most controversial LEGO Star Wars battle packs I think ever, because it was the first one to hit $23 in standard battle pack form. This isn't a super battle pack, and yet it's still $23 and you're barely over 100 pieces.
Hello, I like money.
Now, the minifigures I think are the only saving grace of this entire set. The build is junk, and pretty much everyone in the LEGO community agrees that this is one of the worst LEGO battle pack builds. Minifigures, on the other hand, I like because we're getting LEGO Star Wars zombie combination from the Ahsoka show. I really enjoyed that sequence of scenes in the finale of the series, and I think the minifigures do a pretty good job at replicating that. The build, on the other hand, does not replicate what we see in the show in the least. Believe it or not, this is supposed to be representing an Imperial dropship. This looks like the dropship's sad little cousin. Distantly related. Twice removed. It's pretty rough, if you can't tell. I'm not a fan of the build in the least, and I don't think a lot of people are. But it's 119 pieces, it's $23. Is there anything better you can build with that 119 pieces to make it seem more worth $23 US? So today in this video, I'm going to be trying out some alt builds that require 1 of the set, 2 of the set, and 3 of the set to see, is there any way to make this set good? Now, all these are completely free alt builds found on the website Rebrickable. Got my computer here. I'm going to be showing them off and giving credit, obviously, to the incredible designers who made all of these alt builds, and you guys can go check them out for yourself. And let me know at the end of this video which one is your favorite, the single, the double, or the triple. With that being said, make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, and let's get into it.
So the first build we're going to be trying out today is this one done by the designer Rock Hold. It modifies 1 copy of the set and just makes it more accurate to source material. It makes it look way more like an Imperial gunship, and honestly this model looks really good. It's a little open on the inside, but as you can see when you fill it up with minifigures, it looks pretty good. Plus it's a free design that you can do with your battle pack, no extra pieces needed. Let's try it out.
So the first one is honestly not that bad. It looks honestly way more like an Imperial dropship than the original set did. I do think if it had maybe 30, 40 more pieces, they could fill this in a little nicer, but you know, an actual LEGO set should do something like that. This was an alt build, so I think this is very impressive that they were able to get this close to what an actual Imperial dropship should look like, just from pieces from that set. And as you can see, it used almost all the pieces. I mean, literally all that's left is an extra piece, blasters, and some studs. It used all the other pieces to create this model, so I consider that a pretty solid alternate build. It does have an unfortunate gap at the top, but what can you really do about that? So for $23, you could have this very nice Imperial dropship plus 4 awesome undead Stormtrooper minifigures. I give this one a 7.5 out of 10. Pretty solid build. Unfortunate how open that middle is, but when you fill it up with minifigures, I'm sure it looks a lot better. Unfortunately, this next build requires 2 copies of the set, so I will have to take apart this build in order to build the next one.
For build number 2, we have this amazing looking Rogue Shadow model done by Eric05. This model looks really clean and surprisingly accurate to what we see in the Force Unleashed video game, at least from what I can tell. This model makes use of 2 copies of the Death Trooper Night Trooper battle pack, and honestly it looks pretty clean for only using pieces in that set. Let's try it out.
So here's what you get with 2 copies of the Death Trooper and Night Trooper battle pack. You could build your very own Force Unleashed Rogue Shadow. Now, obviously, It's a little bit small than what it actually should be, but I still think it looks really clean and really good. Some interesting techniques are used to get the front shape of the ship, to get that slight angle, as well as to cover up these gaps you can kind of see on the inside. It covers them up on the outside thanks to these clips and mixel joints. And unfortunately, none of the minifigures included in the set would fit with this. So I'm just pulling in, for example, this custom Star Killer that I've been working on for my own collection. And if I just pop him in, you can see him in there. It's definitely a laying down ship, but at the same time, it's pretty clean. I kind of like this one. Definitely like it more than the first build of the Imperial dropship. I might actually keep this one at the end of the video. I don't know. I'm trying to decide which of the 3 builds that I want to complete, but I haven't built the 3rd one even yet, so I definitely need to do that first. But I think this model turned out really well. It's super swooshable, it's fairly sturdy, and it's really clean. And for those of you like myself who can't afford the original Rogue Shadow set, this is a pretty nice way to get it in a pretty affordable way. Besides, if you only wanted to build this, you could buy the 2 sets, sell off the minifigures, and buy some necessary pieces to throw together a custom Star Killer minifigure, and you got a pretty cool Force Unleashed little build to set on your shelf. Now, I will say this build is a little less parts efficient as the last one. As you can see, a ton of extra pieces are left over. But to build this 3rd copy and 3rd model, I need all these pieces plus this. So I will have to take this one apart, unfortunately. Even if I build it again later, again, I'm probably going to decide at the very end which one I like the most. But unfortunately for now, it's going to have to be taken apart.
For the 3rd and final model, we have the Rogue Class Portex 38, or the Magna Guard shuttle, designed by Atlas Noctis, I believe is how you say it. This is basically a Magna Guard shuttle from the Clone Wars done in black and only using pieces from 3 copies of the Death Trooper and Night Trooper battle pack. As you can see, there's a lot of information he's included on the ship. It's been flown by Cad Bane as well as Magna Guard. And yeah, he has a lot of information about this model, so I'm gonna fast forward through a little bit of it here. But if you check out his model on rebrickable, you can read all of this for yourself in your own time. He looks like a very talented designer. He's done some other really cool alt builds. I'm a big fan of his The Bat model as well, using the tumbler, and it looks like a spider set, a Creator 3-in-1, so might have to try that out in the future. Looks like there's also a bat pod. Some pretty solid models, but I'm getting distracted. Let's try this build out.
And here's what you can build with 3 of the battle packs. This really cool mini representation of the Magna Guard shuttle from Clone Wars and stuff like that. It has a full big title. You would have seen it in the instructions, but I can never remember. It's why I always call it the Magna Guard ship or fighter or something like that. It's a pretty solid design. I'm a pretty big fan of this one. It's the closest to minifig scale out of any of the builds, like what they're intended to be. I really like it. It's got a good grip on the bottom thanks to some pieces down here, so you can swoosh it and play with it. The only part of this build that I'm not a fan of, well, 2 parts, is the fact that these hinged elements, which are accurate in shape, they're very wiggly. So if you bump them around, they're out of place, you know, you're a little too rough with it, then you have to kind of, you know, eyeball it and try to get it back centered. And then it's the cockpit. Now, while it looks decent, there is some gaps, but I'm mainly talking about how fragile it is. I mean, I barely lift, you can see it's already kind of bending there, and it's only connected, this whole portion, by those 2 gray studs, which is just unfortunate. I wish there was any other way just to kind of lock it in, make it a little stronger, because when you push down, see, it's kind of hard to get it back on, especially with one hand, but pushing it back on, you kind of have to take off these glass panels, reach in, push that plate down, and then put it back on. I'm guessing the idea is when you put a minifigure in, it's the front 2 studs of its legs are here and the back 2 are here, so it kind of holds it together better. But if you just want the build, it is a very, very fragile connection, which is unfortunate. So as I was putting a minifigure inside, I thought, you know, it couldn't be intended to be that weak. I mean, there's some extra pieces here, like do something with it. Look back at the instructions. As it turns out, I was missing a 2x2 Lightstone gray plate right here. So I popped that out of the extra pieces and popped it in, and you can see it right here underneath the minifigure, and it makes that a whole lot stronger of connection. You can see I can mess with it, remove this piece, and it's actually solid. I can do it back on one-handed and it's staying in place, which is really nice, and that makes me like this build a whole lot more. So it was user error, not designer error. This thing is a really cool model. The designer was even able to add a small storage area back in here, maybe for a blaster or helmet or something, not quite a minifigure size. A weak connection point here, granted, but I'm not really gonna be using that, and it gets the accurate, sculpting of the back of the ship pretty well done. I guess now it's time for me to decide which one is my favorite. And this was honestly a pretty hard choice. I like how simple the single alt build was, updating the Imperial dropship and making it look more like a dropship. That was really nice and simplistic. But then I also really like the miniature Rogue Shadow. Unfortunately, you can't make any, custom Force Unleashed minifigures to go with it. But if you have the pieces and you can make yourself a little side Starkiller minifigure and put with it, it's a pretty good display piece. And then lastly, we got the Magna Guard ship, which looks pretty good. Unfortunately, has those gaps on the cockpit, but if you're willing to put a few more pieces with it from your own collection, you could probably round out that cockpit a little nicer. And then it's a cheaper way of getting a Magna Guard shuttle, because the original set is worth quite a bit more nowadays. So they all have some pros going for them.
If I had to decide though, I gotta say I would put Magna Guard first, Rogue Shadow second, and Dropship last. I think that would be my ranking, even though they're all good in their own right. I will say I might try at a later point to modify this Magna Guard ship a little bit to, make it a little more accurate using pieces in my collection, maybe seeing if I can round out that cockpit a little more or lock in those front angled cannons maybe a little bit. But besides that, this is an already pretty solid model.
I think this is a really fun concept for a video. I thoroughly enjoyed doing it. Let me know down in the comment section if you guys want to see me do more alt build content, and let me know which was your favorite of the 3 alt builds we did. Is your favorite the Magna Guard ship like me, or are you more of a fan of the Rogue Shadow or Imperial dropship? If you want to see some more awesome videos, you can click on any of the videos popping up on your end screen here in just a second, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Farewell.